Our third day began driving past the Ruskeala waterfalls from our previous video about 20 minutes further ahead to the Ruskeala Mountain Park. Arguably one of the 3 largest attractions in Karelia along with the Valam Monastery and Kiji Island, Ruskeala Mountain Park is a mini man-made fjord and cultural experience all rolled into one. This park is a former marble quarry used during the Imperial Dynasty of Russia all the way back since 1765. The marble from this park can still be seen today in some of Russia's most iconic architecture, from the Winter Palace, St. Isaac's, and the Kazan Cathedral in St. Petersburg, as well as stretching far beyond there all the way to the Ural Mountains and even over to Italy. The marble of Karelia is known simply worldwide. But after dynamiting cracked the giant marble slates that were here, it was decided to cease all mining operations and instead to flood the quarry. Today, the quarry spans nearly 500 meters long and over 100 meters wide, with the water being visible up to 15 feet deep, which makes this a perfect attraction for extreme sport enthusiasts. The park contains everything a northern adventurer could need, but with the modern conveniences of toilets. They have access to the northern lights during summer evenings, winter ice castles and concerts inside the many underground tunnels and caves. They have rural hiking, souvenir villages, rune cutters, horse-drawn carriage rides, cliff jumping, canoeing, and even ziplining down its crag. When you first walk in the site, it's pretty unassuming, but suddenly it bursts out of nowhere, this breathtaking scene from some northern mythology you've never heard before. Immediately inside, you can begin exploring caves and winding trails, and it can take all day to see everything in detail, which is frankly what I recommend and what we did. Or you can hit the highlights, and that can take even a couple of hours. Luckily, summer, spring, fall, or winter, the paths are well maintained, and it's more of a stroll than a hike. So if you're looking for more of rugged conditions and an actual hiking around a mountain, I would still recommend coming here for a short stint, but then head farther north for some real hiking trails. We, on the other hand, just wanted to see everything that this park had to offer and film it so I can share it with you guys. So we devoted the entire day to this place, and we certainly didn't regret it. One unique facet of Karelia that you will see everywhere, not just in this park, are stacked stones on top of boulders and cliffs. In fact, if you check out my earlier videos on Karelia, you'll probably see them in the driving montages on the sides of the road. These stones are stacked and have wishes on them, but they only are granted when someone knocks over the stack. On top of that, it also requires the person who knocked it over to then stack a new one and make their own wish for someone to eventually knock over and help make it come true. This park has literally millions of these stones from centuries of both practice and tourism. So when you come, don't feel bad if you knock one over. Continue the tradition of granting wishes and stack another one up yourself. Nearby the stones are these traditional homes that offer a unique Karelian service like handicrafts, teas, or even good luck runes. The runes cost only a couple bucks, but they're sort of like a Karelian lucky rabbit's foot. And since I'm starting a new business this year, I grabbed one for good luck and new enterprises. But you can't just buy them. We found out by the rune carvers themselves you have to activate them, which we decided to do at the end of the video. So leave a like for now and stay tuned to the end of the video, and I will explain how the Karelians turn on their magic runic powers. But coming down from there, our friend Lisa got the itch for adrenaline seeing people cliff jump off the top of the crag. And to all of our encouragement, she decided to try. It cost about $20 and it took about 15 minutes or so for her turn to come up, and you could just see the nerves on her face. Eventually, people in the crowd, even all the way at the bottom, were yelling, "Go, Lisa, go!" And in the end, she went. We caught up with her at the end to see how she fared, and it was a real experience of life, she said, and one she just won't ever forget. But for the rest of us cowards, not willing to be shown up by Lisa's bravery, the rest of us decided to try the most scenic route of ziplining. Now, when I went, the line took approximately 50 minutes, and that was on a weekday, during the day, and in the off-season. So I imagine it gets worse depending on peak times and seasons, so plan accordingly. But for me, it was well worth it, being the content creator that I am, to get some of these one-of-a-kind shots with my brand new gimbal rig. You can see why for yourself. When we finished, that burst of adrenaline, the park also offers a bit of history just on its northern end, where you can walk down past the ruins of an old marble factory and see the relic of a Soviet era. At its basin, 2 of the original steam trains that brought marble and passengers from St. Petersburg to Karelia sit still in operating condition. It was one of these trains that the emperors and empresses of Russia rode up here to work and to play, as well as thousands of marble miners working to try and cut a wage for themselves out of the rough terrain. And for some reason I'll never understand, they also had horses, which, as you can imagine, took up a great deal of my time and attention. Strolling around the antique train depot, you can even dine in one of the old dining carts that they turned into a restaurant if you want. We went in and it was a little cramped and pretty full of customers for our taste, but it's a real historic experience if you're into that sort of thing. At that point, the group split up as 2 of the girls wanted to see the cave tour, and we wanted to try and find some traditional Karelian bear meat to try because we knew there was a restaurant in the park that does it, which didn't work out. But we did find lots more isolated beauty in the farther reaches of the park, and that was enough for us. This is like a cenote. From the rune shop that they wrapped nicely, because, as the tradition states, they say once you have it, it's not activated yet. The first thing you have to do is wash it in natural water, so it can't be like a pond scum or like a puddle. It has to be real, natural Karelian water, which we found here in Ruskeala. They actually have one. Secondly, you have to wash it, and thirdly, you can't show anyone it after you wash it. So I'm gonna wash it really quick, although I'll cut away before you see me pull it out. I'll wrap it back up, I'll hide it somewhere, and hopefully my luck won't run out. It's the last time you're gonna see it, because from now on, it's gonna be active. All right, Law, sorry, you gotta look away. We need good luck. I feel the power getting strong, giving me good business and making you like this video. And subscribe. We finished the day by grabbing some Karelian kvass, a type of non-alcoholic bread, beer, drink that most Slavic countries have, and enjoyed its slightly bitter taste as we journeyed on to the sunset, or to our last destination for the day, the ancient pagan city of Paaso. Mount Paaso is only a few minutes from the site, but there's no buses or trains that go from one to the other, so you'll need to drive or hitch a ride, I guess. Paaso Mountain is well known in Karelia for its scenic views, but beyond being a beautiful site for sightseeing, in the 19th century, an ancient settlement of Pereirs was discovered at its peak. This ancient pagan city left many ruins of stones, weapons, clay pottery, and according to the Finnish archaeologist who discovered it, and I'm gonna butcher this name, I apologize, Otto Appelgren, it was active from the 12th to the 13th century. Looks like Masha is washing her rune in this natural source of water way out in the ruins of this 6,000-year-old village. What a weird life I'm living. It's said that the fortress had walls all the way around its hilltop peak that kept out the other raiding pagan tribes. And at the height of its civilization, it could sustain a population of around 100 people, which seems impressive for this little 1,000-square-meter terrace. Apparently, the site was formerly home to many mysterious places of power and ancient sorcerers. But today we weren't fortunate enough to find any sorcerers. It was mostly Instagram models and young couples looking for cute sunset photos. Either way, it's a worthy stopover on the way home from Sortavala since it's on the way. And hey, those sunset photos are kind of nice to share. If you want to check it out, it's only a couple of dollars to enter the park, and the paths are always very well kept with these giant wooden ramps, so you don't have to worry about the snow. But this wouldn't be our last stop on this Karelian journey. We did indeed find the exotic meat that we were so desperately seeking, although not bear, but we found some delicious cloudberry tea and some roasted deer and herbs for dinner. And it was one of the most delicious things that I've eaten here since I've arrived in Karelia. As the sun began to set, we set off for the port city of Sortavala, our home base for this Karelian adventure, because tomorrow we set off for the most iconic monastery in Russian Orthodoxy, the great island monastery of Valam.